All right, so there was one thing that I didn't do from the last video. Before with the camera, we set the position so it was in the middle of the screen. We're going to have to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and set the camera position. So camera dot position dot set. And now instead of the camera using the viewport, I'm actually getting the game viewport. So game viewport dot, and we can get world width. This is the right here, the world width right here, and the world height. So we want to get the world width. We want to divide that by 2. We want to get the game viewport dot get world height divided by 2, and we have nothing in the z direction. And that should set that. Okay, so I created a couple more packages, managers and helpers. All you got to do is just right click, go to new, select a package, and you can kind of help break down your stuff. For helpers, I'm going to create a class, and I'm just going to call it figures, and I'm going to use it as a static class. So I'm not going to create an instance of it, but I'm going to use it to hold anything that I need to access for, say, sizing and stuff like that. So my figures right now is just going to hold my virtual width, my virtual height. So I'm going to go public static final, because I'm not going to make any changes to it, int, and I'm going to type this in caps because it's not changing, virtual width, and I'm going to set that to 16, and then I'm going to do another one, public static final int virtual height. Okay, and this is 11 for my game. Again, that's where you got to make your call on how you're going to do it, because your maps, everything's got to be in consideration to your sizes. So then in my main game screen, I can actually use this. And instead of saying world width, I'm going to just call figures dot virtual width and figures dot virtual height. Now the reason why I did that, let's say that I needed to make a change and I wanted to try different sizing. I have one location. If I end up having multiple areas where I have different sizes, or I'm passing the viewport in through Ashley and I want to change it, instead of having to find where I put it, I can have one area where I have it. So we have our game, we have our batch, we have our camera, we have our viewport set up. The next thing that we could do is our bodybuilder right here. We want to actually pull that out so that when we create a player, we can actually build based off what we need. So I'm going to go ahead and just call this body generator. No, I don't. All right, so in this body generator, we could basically just pull that code. We are going to end up having to change it some, so I'm going to pull this entire method to my body generator as a method for it. This will end up changing down the road, but so I don't need this in here anymore. I'm going to put it in here. Yep, I want import. Okay, so this is throwing an error because it's wanting the world. I don't have the world. So what do I need to do? I need to be able to pass in the world. So we want to go to our code. We want to generate a constructor. And in this case, we want to hold a reference to the world. So we're going to do world. Alt enter. Okay, so now I have a reference. I want to pass in that in the constructor. So when I build the body generator, I'm passing in the world that I'm using. And then I can say this dot world is equal to the world that I pass in, and that error goes away. Okay, so now we have the method actually plugged somewhere else. It's not really being used right now. But if we're looking, let's see where we are on cleaned up code. We want to extrapolate this out, the movement to somewhere else, so that our game screen right now is a lot more simplified. It is going to get a lot more complex. So if we're looking at doing inputs, I'll put that on the next video.